you're on fire right now. Is this the best you felt? I mean, you've had a lot of great moments in your career, but you feel like you're at the top of your game right now?
I think more that I'm growing always, never ending ascension, hopefully. And I feel good, and so I think if that's the case, you can always continue to get better. So I don't like to think this is the top, because from the top there's the downhill.
Yeah.
I like to think this is just another step up.
Kristen, you talked about this a little bit, but what's it like for you to have, these games, hopefully, and to be able to have these games here at home for you, hometown?
I think, when I think about football, I think about my family. They were just always so linked, and in there's Los Angeles. So every single time I land at LAX, I feel like overcome with joy and nostalgia, and that's even amplified being on these fields here. This is where I've trained every off season of my life. This is, in view right now of my hometown, so it's incredibly special. I love to play for my friends and family all the time, representing them, but even better when I'm here in Los Angeles.
The I know you're thinking about the immediate, not looking ahead, but after the way things went in Rio, what does this Olympics mean to this team? What does it mean to you?
I think just thinking about the cycle, having won in 2015 and then the quick transition to the Olympics, I think the hard thing looking back is the emotional ride of winning a World Cup, which I know sounds crazy, but you do deserve to let go a bit and enjoy it. And then, that starts going into preparation time for the Olympics, which makes it incredibly challenging to win back to back. And so I think that is the mentality that the group that was a part of 2015 and 2016 is bringing into this transition, that we have to have a short memory. We have to let go of the World Cup, and we have to go into this this is our big tournament for the next 3 years. And so I think that that's a good lesson to have learned. I think having a new staff in the transition presents different challenges, but all eyes and all focus are on bringing home gold this year.
The 26th of January, obviously, we know the tragedy that happened with Kobe, his daughter, and all the people involved. He was an advocate, pretty much, for women's sports, and not only in basketball, but he was always talking about the team, the USWMTV. What are your thoughts? Do you think we lost somebody who was an advocate so much for women? What do you make out of it?
Yeah, I think, a lot of the players on this team were personally close to Kobe. And, I think it was a big loss for the world and the sports community. But as you mentioned, even more so for the women's sports community and the women's soccer community, because he was such an ally. And, in building his relationship with the team, it really lifted us up. He was a mentor to many of the players. And I think, the legacy that he leaves is enormous in sport, but it's also enormous in what he's done outside of the sport, and that's encouraging women to play and to believe in themselves.
I know Kobe kind of supported this, obviously, but you and this team, kind of carry the banner for women athletes, for a lot of them. What is that like for you personally to, when you step out there, that there are girls and other women athletes looking to you guys and kind of help them out?
Yeah, I think that part of being on this team is kind of carrying that torch. And so a lot of us who, our first relationship with the women's national team was as a little girl in the stands, and seeing the torch being carried by others. And so that's kind of a natural thing that when you first join the team, it's part of your legacy to take that torch and carry it on. And, in one mindset, I think, it's a burden. We should be able to be just athletes. But in the other mindset, I'm like, it's such a privilege to be able to play for something that's a lot bigger than just a score line. And it's something that I think the team really embraces.
Yes.
Yeah,
so you're going to be playing in Mexico, a country where women's soccer is starting to grow, especially after 3 years since the professional league started. What do you think are the team's strengths, and is there any player from the team that has caught your attention?
Yeah, I think Mexico has a very strong squad, and I think always we're looking at them as one of the top competitors that we face in CONCACAF. And I think that our mindset in a lot of these matches, but including the upcoming match, is for us to really impose our strengths on the opponents. And I think we feel that in the system that we're building, we can really dictate the play. And so it's less a little bit about, worrying about an individual as much as taking care of all the pieces on our end, offensively and defensively, being super tidy and super dynamic. And I think that will be the key to our success.